This week, NATO held its annual summit in Vilnius, Lithuania, and G7 leaders also gathered on the margins of the NATO summit. And it was a mixed bag, I would say, overall, though it ended on a more positive note than it started. On Tuesday, the NATO allies issued a communique in which they said NATO will extend an invitation to Ukraine when allies agree and when conditions are met. Didn't say when, didn't say how, didn't say what those conditions were. And President Zelensky of Ukraine wasn't very happy with that, called that communique absurd. By Wednesday, the situation was looking better as NATO allies and G7 leaders got together and issued very strong statements of support, promises and pledges of additional military assistance to Ukraine. And I think President Zelensky, by the end of Wednesday, was feeling better about things and spoke much more positively about the outcome of the NATO meeting and the gathering of G7 leaders. It's also important to remember that NATO welcomed Finland into the NATO alliance, which essentially doubles NATO's border with Russia. And Turkey dropped its objections to having Sweden join, though the Turkish parliament still needs to vote on accession of Sweden, and that should take place in October. And finally, and importantly, President Biden indicated that the United States may be ready to provide ATACMS long-range missiles that the Ukrainians have been desperately asking for months and months. And that too may have a major impact on the war that is still underway and Ukraine is fighting as well as it can. So on Wednesday, things looked better than they did on Tuesday. And the main focus, I think, needs to remain on helping Ukraine win the war that Putin started in February of last year.